I'm being fat. Okay, this is an advice video, just my own experience from questions that I was asked by viewers. A couple of viewers asked me, how did my family take me getting my tubes untied? For a long time, my mother has told me that I don't need any more kids. You have enough. You have 4. My mother-in-law, God rest her soul, has told me, multiply and be fruitful. She has 7 kids. So I was kind of in limbo about whether I was going to have my surgery done, because my mom was my, basically my support system. My mom was my support system. She was my rock. And I've been with my husband since my oldest daughter was 3 years old. She is now 15. So for me, it's like what my mom had to say meant a lot to me. With that being said, when I came to the conclusion, like, hey, I'm going to get this done. We both want this, you know, whatever. I explained to my mom, hey, this is something that we really want to do. My father, Jesus, God rest his soul, my husband is not the biological father to my first 3. And I just felt like if he stepped in and raised my first 3 with the love, compassionate, understanding, out of all the things, I mean, they, you know, just, you know, the milestones, anything that they may have thrown at him. You know, my oldest daughter, she was 3 years old, so she went through this rebellion stage of, you're not my dad. You know, they call him dad now. My twins really don't have the concept of he is not my dad, because they the only guy he knows. So I had to explain to my mom that, hey, if he was man enough to help me to raise the kids that did not belong to him, why am I going to deny him to have any more? And I think putting it that way, you know, at first I approached the conversation by saying, hey, Ma, do you think Steve is a good man? She is, yeah. Do you think he's a good dad? Yeah, he's a good dad. I said, okay. So with that being said, this is what's going to happen. And putting it into that, you know, aspect, she, you know, then was like, okay, you know, I understand it, but, you know, I just feel like y'all do have enough, but, you know, I'm going to be there 100% whether you decide to have one or not. My mother-in-law, like I said, God rest her soul, she would have been happy regardless of if we had 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, whatever. My brother-in-law feels like the economy is very bad. He's going to love it regardless, but the economy is bad. But, you know, eventually the family did come on board. Outsiders, I really can care less or give a shit about what they say, because you are not feeding my kids. I call it the 3 F's. Excuse my language, but we're all adults. If you're not fucking me, feeding me, or financing me, then who cares what you think? So now, next subject. I was asked by a viewer, how did my kids take me having another one? My youngest daughter was like, yes, now I have someone else to boss around besides the dogs. My sons, the twins, said they are okay with it as long as it's not a girl. So I think Steve needs to start talking to his nuts. My oldest was just like, yeah, no, I'm not with it. You have enough. She said, there's enough space? There's not enough space in this house. Don't have another one. Then when she seen that I had my surgery and how hard that I was, you know, how much pain I was in and what I was willing to go through to have another one, then my oldest was like, you know, I don't like the pain that you're in, but if you're going to go through this much effort to have another one, I'm on the bandwagon. So my kids are okay with it. Outsiders. Now, here go the thing. Here go the thing. You know, I go to Walmart or wherever, you know, the supermarket. People know us. They see us. So when they see that I'm in pain, you know, a lot of people say, hey, what's wrong? And I say, hey, I got my tubes untied. And they're like baffled, like, wait a minute, you got your tubes untied? Like, it's so unheard of. So while I was in Walmart yesterday, it was a long day. I felt good, but then when we got to Walmart at 11 o'clock at night, I needed one of those chairs. So I sat in the chair, and the lady was like, there's nothing wrong with you, get out the chair. And I was like, you know, me and her laugh, you know, and I told her what happened, that I got my tubes untied. And when I tell you, it was about 4 women who flocked to the conversation. One woman was like, she stood there, she listened, and then when we rolled outside, she kind of pulled me to the side and was like, you know, we just got married, and you know, she said she did a payment for IVF. The IVF didn't work. She had no idea. Her doctor had never told her about tubal reversal, which, you know, made me feel even better. And sometimes when I question why I do these videos, it's things like that say, you know what, this is why you're doing it. I'm trying to think of other questions. Someone also asked me, is it better before you get your tubal reversal, is it a good idea to get your husband checked for fertility problems? I would say yes. I would say if you never had a baby with him, and even if you did have a baby with him, I would say yes, it's a good idea to get your husband checked out, because if you waste all this money or pay all this money for you to get fixed, and then it come to find out your husband has an issue, then now that's another hurdle you have to climb over. I'm not saying every problem can be fixed. If your husband is having issues, it could be a diet thing, it could be an exercise thing, it could be a hormonal thing, it could be anything. But yes, it is a good idea for your husband to get checked out. Did my husband get checked out? No, we didn't feel it was necessary because we already had a kid together. And before Aviani was born, I was pregnant, miscarried. And then after Aviani was born, Aviani was like 6 weeks old. We found out we was pregnant again. And it just, I don't know how to say it. I'm not pro-abortion, but I'm not against it. It just wasn't a good idea that I still had twins that were 3 years old, just came out of diapers. Aviani was only 6 weeks when I found out I was pregnant. It just wasn't financially feasible for us. I was only 22 years old. It just wasn't a feasible idea. So I've been pregnant by him 3 times. So we did not feel the need to pay the additional $500 to have him checked or anything like that. So we didn't. But yes, it is a good idea to have your spouse checked, to have everything checked out, cross out all the doubt issues or anything like that. Someone asked, another viewer asked me if I was married because they never seen a ring on my finger. Yes, we are legally married. I don't have a ring on my finger because at one point in time, after being 4 years married, we experienced some relationship difficulties. It had to do with finances. It had to do with family members not agreeing that he's white, I'm black. We had a bunch of outside issues that caused confrontation in the marriage, which caused me not to wear my wedding ring, which caused me to in return get my tubes tied, and it just drew a big separation between us. But then once we realized that it didn't matter what we split, but then once we realized it didn't matter what anyone else thought about the situation, we salvaged things and, you know, stuff like that. Okay, another viewer asked me, when did I realize I made a big mistake after I got my tubes tied? I got my tubes tied in 2011. I realized I made an epic mistake. I want to say it had to be the end of 2013. And it wasn't something, I don't even think... Yeah, love is love. You're right. I don't even think it was a moment where I seen a baby and it was like I caught baby fever. It was completely the opposite. My daughter, I was rocking her, and one day she threw away her pacifier and she just didn't want to drink a bottle no more. She wanted a regular cup, and you know, I always called her baby, and she just wasn't with it. And I was like, you know what, we gotta have another freaking baby. And the next day, we all woke up late. It was a hectic day, very hectic. And once we got all the kids off to school, I laid down with my husband. I said, I want another one. And that's when we both came to the conclusion, like, we fucked up big time. I'm at the school. You know, you guys, I'm always running and picking up kids. I have a notepad of things that people have asked me, written down, but I'm just trying to remember them at the top of my head. Another person asked me how to save money. Now, this is the thing, you guys, and I'm going to tell you this. When it came to the deposit, we had to be strong and we had to save. But for the rest of the money, I got into an accident a couple of months ago where I was hit by a vehicle and I got a little money from that. So that's what gave us a boost start. But before that, we already had money sent to Dr. Maurice for a down payment. The way we got this money, and like I was telling another viewer, when we first started thinking about putting money up and saving, soon as we got money, we went to the bank, got a cashier's check, sent it straight off to the doctor. We didn't hold on to the money. We didn't say, hey, we're gonna send it Monday, we're gonna send it. If it was a Saturday, we put the check in the mailbox. We did not hold it. A lot of you guys do not know. I used to work for the post office. A lot of you guys don't know, but the post office doors are open 24/7 because people have safe deposit box. So if it's a Sunday morning and you realize, hey, you got extra money, all the bills is paid, you go and get a money order from Walmart, Western Union, wherever it may be, and you walk into that post office and you drop it in the box. Because guess what? Once it's in the box, it's out of your hands. You can't touch it. Not even if you go in there on Monday and say, hey, I mistaked and dropped the envelope in here, let me get it. They're not going to give it back to you. Another way is, you know those jugs that you go to the doctor's office and you want some water, so it's a jug. I went to Walmart, and if it was 25 cents, 50 cents, whatever it may be, whatever change that I had when I came back home, I dropped it in that water jug. If I went out with $10 and I only spent $5, I would put the $5 in the water jug. So before I knew it, I had like $72 in my water jug. So on top of the money that I was sending to Dr. Maurice through mail, I had $70-something in the water jug. And a lot of people say, oh, $70-something ain't shit. It is something, especially when you was going to spend that money on bullshit anyway. Also, you get I got to turn this heat off. I'm baking. You get a prepaid card. Your prepaid card is going to come with a deposit slip. You take that deposit slip to your job. On the deposit slip, it's going to ask you what percentage would you like out of your paycheck to be put on this net spend card or whatever card you might have. Or it asks you for a percentage, or it asks you for a dollar amount. My husband at the time was the only one working. So he would take $150 and he would get paid every week. So we had $150 out of each paycheck going on to that prepaid card. Once we got the prepaid card in the mail, I cut it up and threw it in the garbage. I waited until the garbage man came, and I took it and I threw it in the garbage. I know a lot of y'all are saying, what the fuck? What did she do that for? I did that so I can't touch it. Because even though I damaged the card, his paycheck is still going to that card. So when we got about $500 on that card, I called NetSpend and I said, look, I gave them my social, my address. They did an account verification and they sent me out a new card. The moment I got that card, I called Dr. Maurice and I made my deposit. That way, the money, I don't have the money. It's not in my hands. I can't touch it. I didn't even know what the first NetSpend card number was. I took that deposit slip out. I left the card in the envelope and I just cut it up. I don't know what the card looked like. I didn't know what the numbers was. I didn't know anything. When the card came in the mail to me, I sat in the car straight from the mailbox and it's saying bad connection. I hope y'all still can hear me. And I called in my deposit. There are ways, ladies, to trick yourself into saving. It's all about mind over matter. If it's not in your hands, if you're like me and you have kids, of course, if you're on a tubal reversal journey, you most definitely have kids. You have to steal from yourself. And it sounds fucked up, but you really do. You have to rob Peter to pay Paul. So that's what I did. I put money in a jug. As soon as I got the money, I would put it in the mailbox, whether it be a Sunday or not. The post office is open 24 hours a day because people have to get to their P.O. boxes, not safety deposit box. They have to get to their P.O. box, and I did a prepaid card. Once I got my settlement, then that's when I said, okay, the same week I got my settlement, I said, you know what? I'm not doing anything else. Let me call Dr. Maurice. Let me do this date, move my date, and I went straight in. So that kind of gave me a jump start. I didn't even know I was getting the settlement, but it came just in the nick of time. But before that, we still had to put down our deposit. I was also asked by a viewer, what is the best time to make a deposit or anything like that? Listen, ladies, I see a lot of you, especially in the tubal reversal group on Facebook, and I'm in like 3 of them, that say y'all going to have your surgery done during tax time. That's wonderful. But if you're thinking you're going to have your surgery done during tax time, how many other people is thinking like that? So my advice to you is figure out what doctor you're going to have. Make that deposit. If you know your taxes come February 26th or March 1st, make your deposit now. That way when you get your taxes, all you have to do is put down the rest and go for your surgery. Because there's 100 other people that's thinking just like you that is going to have their surgery during tax time. And what's going to end up happening when you get your money, there's going to be 100 other people in front of you. Make your deposit now. You know your money come at the end of February. Okay, so if your money comes at the end of February, February 26th, then say, hey, March 1st, March 3rd, or the first week in March, I want my surgery done. Take your money now, put it down, say, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I want my surgery done the first day of March. Guess what? Because now when Katie, Crystal, or whoever has their tax money and say, hey, let me call the doctor right now and see if he can squeeze me in, you're already in there. You are ahead of the game. You are ahead of the marathon. You're going to win the race because you're already in there. It's not like it's slim pickings where you know your taxes came the 26th of February. You want that first week of March, but guess what? Now the doctor's booked and you can't get it. Make that deposit now. There's a lot of doctors and assistants that's willing to work with you. If the deposit is $1,000, make an effort. Show the doctor you're trying. Put down $500, put down $600, put down $300 and say, hey, I know I can't set a date until this day, but is it possible if you can put it in invisible ink that this is the day that I want? Don't wait until tax time. Everyone is thinking just like you're thinking. You're not unique in thinking, oh, tax time is coming, I'm going to get this done. I wouldn't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Also, a lot of you are thinking this is a lot of money to be spending. Is this really what I want to do? And what I say to you is if you pay little by little, that's just like when someone borrow money from you. If you give someone $500 and then they give you back 20 here, 30 here, 50 here, 100 here, it's going to be like you didn't even pay them back. That goes from the same principle of breaking down your payments. $5 here, $20 here, $15 here, $100 here. It seems like nothing. So now when you get your tax money, it don't seem like you took a chunk out of your tax money and then wasted it on this surgery. Do something. I also had someone ask me, that hurt my stomach. I'm sorry, you guys. I also had someone ask me, is it a good idea to start buying baby clothes even though you're not pregnant? Yes and no. I say yes, it's a good idea if you're buying diapers, wipes, the white onesies, neutral shit, unisex stuff. But I say no because that sets your expectations high. That sets anxiety because if you don't get pregnant right away, now you're looking at all this baby stuff. If you do get pregnant right away and it's an ectopic pregnancy or God forbid it's a miscarriage, now you're sitting there looking at this baby stuff in disappointment. So that can go 50-50. I was also asked, would I ever buy baby stuff before I got pregnant? No, I wouldn't buy baby stuff before I got pregnant. But if I got pregnant, yes, I would start ASAP, because I have kids. I know that my kids is gonna want and they're gonna need. And for me, it's like, if I go out and start buying diapers and wipes and white socks and white onesies and just, just keeping it on the line of what if, then yeah, I would do it, because now guess what? The kids that I do have need some stuff. So I on my opinion, it is that subject is kind of touchy. It's very touchy. My mother's side of the family is from Puerto Rico, so anybody who's Spanish knows it's bad to buy clothes for a baby before whatever, like before a certain period of time. Ask my mother, it's like before you're 6 months or whatever the crap is. Now here go the thing is, I never went past 8 months. I've never been 8 months pregnant and beyond. I've always had my kids 2 months, 3 months, 2.5 months. So me, yeah, it would be a good idea for me to start buying baby stuff before 6 months. Also, I'm trying to think of questions, ladies. Like, I have the stuff written down, but also someone asked me, did anything change since I had my tubal reversal? My appetite has changed. Since my tubal reversal, I have gained a total of 12 pounds. Every time you guys see me, I think I'm eating or I'm drinking something. My appetite has changed. I eat up everything, and I even find myself, like last night we went to Steak and Shake. I was full with Steak and Shake, but I made my husband stop at the sushi restaurant just in case I woke up and was hungry. That's ludicrous, and that's some fat girl shit. But I did wake up hungry, and I did have my sushi like I wanted. Another person asked me, did my period come yet? No, my period didn't come yet, but I was speaking to Tubal Reversal Beauty, which is Keosha Morton. And she, being that she had her tubal reversal before me, she told me that's something that's normal. Even though I didn't follow the doctor's rules by waiting 6 weeks, she did say that was normal, and there's a big possibility that I'm not pregnant because, yeah, even though my period didn't come, it's normal. So, yes, I did have a lot of change in attitude, appetite, just different stuff. I'm trying to think, you guys. I'm trying to get it together. I'm trying to get my life together. Like, where I am is cold. I have hot flashes. I actually went out and bought a fan. I'm normally cold, but now I'm not cold because I guess I had my tubes untied, hormones is changing and stuff like that. Another person asked me, how soon do Miss Margie, which is Dr. Maurice's assistant, his nurse, or whatever like that, how long does it take her to get back to you? Miss Margie, and I don't know if it's because I already had my surgery, but Miss Margie normally gets right back to me. If I text her right now, I say not even 5 minutes go by, she is texting me and saying, hey, what's going on? Now, if you're looking for a quote or a price, I don't know if that's different, circumstances, but I do know when I was looking for a price, Miss Margie got back in touch with me. I want to say it had to be less than like 6 hours later. I checked my email. It was in there. What you also need to do is make sure her stuff is not going to spam. That happened to me a couple of times where stuff went to spam, and come to find out, she did get in touch with me and it was in spam. I'm trying to think. Another viewer asked me, how was my drive after surgery? If you can fly, yeah. If you can fly, fly. And I say that to say, look at my little pumpkin pie. And I say that to say, hey baby, don't put that stress on your spouse. After surgery, I took 2 sleeping pills and 2 pain pills just to put me out enough to be able to drive that 9 miles. And even with me taking 2 sleeping pills and 2 pain pills, when my husband hit a bump, when I tell you it felt like my world was going to crumble, it felt like my world was going to crumble. A lot of people, now, this is the thing. If you're going with Dr. Maurice, the airport is 1.5 hours from where you need to be. And I know a lot of people say, well, that cab is going to be expensive. What am I going to do? Here go a solution. Rent a car. And here go another solution, because some people say, well, you need a credit card to rent a car. Yeah, you do. So this is my suggestion, and this is just a financial suggestion. No, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I mean, listen, it is what it is. Listen, I'm at my daughter's school, and I've been telling them that we need a crossing guard. You can't see. And this is what it looks like. You can't see if there's cars coming. This is not good at all. And don't pay my window no mind. I came out of Walmart, and I'm guessing someone smashed my window, but whatever. Get you a short credit card, and what that is with your money. Me and my husband did that, but we did that after we came back. We got an assured credit card, and basically we was able to rent a vehicle. We blew the engine on my truck, so we went from having 3 cars to just having 2 cars, and the cars wasn't big enough to fit all my kids. Get yourself a short credit card and rent a vehicle. I've heard of other people taking Ubers from the airport. That can be expensive. And when we got to Morgan City, Louisiana, we did not, when I did Uber, the Uber app, there was no Ubers around that area. I'm only saying this is because we drove, and when I tell you I was in excruciating pain, I didn't say that right, I butchered it, but okay. I was in pain. I was pissed off with my husband. I was swearing to God that he was catching potholes. It just wasn't a good situation for us. It drew a lot of hostility. It just wasn't good. And when you're not feeling good, your attitude sucks. So if you can drive and it's about 3 hours away, 4 hours away, I would say do it. But if you're anywhere from 5 and over, do not put your relationship through that. Don't put yourself through that. Just don't do it. Then you have to worry about peeing. Hey, Jasmine. You have to worry about using the bathroom, and now guess what? You just had surgery, so now you got to sit on those nasty public toilets, and oh yeah, you're going to be sitting because it's hard to hover and squat after you had that procedure done. Fortunately, driving back home, we stopped at McDonald's, and the manager at McDonald's cleared out the female's bathroom and allowed my husband to go in there with me and help me. I am 5'3", my husband is 6'3.5", so he ultimately picked me up and hovered me over the toilet. Don't put yourself and your spouse through that. It's just not a go. Bring a pillow. The ride was a lot easier because I sat on a pillow. So even though I felt the bumps, the pillow was between me and that seat and that bump. Listen, I mean, I understand you might